Cate Blanchett's no good, and everyone should know that.
I fly into sort of, well, I think they're quite rational.
Cate Blanchett may look like Hollywood royalty, but beneath that polished poise is a storm of zero tolerance for chaos, arrogance, or incompetence. These 6 actors learned that the hard way. 6. Harvey Weinstein. First of all, let me take you to the late 1990s when Cate Blanchett was a rising star due to Elizabeth and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. At that time, a moment happened that forever changed Cate Blanchett's view of Hollywood's darkest power and led her to hate Harvey Weinstein.
I was disappointed when he was brought on as a producer. I couldn't quite work out why.
The room was quiet, but the air was thick with tension. Cate Blanchett sat across from Harvey Weinstein, the man who wielded power like a weapon in Hollywood's gilded halls. He was charming on the surface, but a titan of the industry whose smile masked a darker hunger. Instantly, Harvey leaned forward, voice low, saying, "We're not friends." It was not a friendly reminder, but a veiled warning. Cate felt the weight of those words settle over her like a storm cloud. She knew exactly what they meant. Play along or face the consequences. But Cate Blanchett wasn't just anyone. She stood tall, steadying herself. With quiet but fierce resolve, she looked him in the eye and said, "I'm not interested." What followed was a tense, uncomfortable exchange where Harvey tried to manipulate, charm, and intimidate. But Cate remained unmoved, refusing to be anything less than professional and dignified. That moment wasn't just uncomfortable. It was a betrayal, and the very reason Cate Blanchett despises Harvey Weinstein today. Not because of rumors, but because she experienced his manipulative and predatory behavior firsthand. Later on, after a lot of years, Cate got the chance to show her hatred toward Harvey by becoming a part of the Me Too movement. She talked openly about the predatory behavior of Harvey and called out the world to cancel him instantly. 5. Woody Allen. We all know that Blue Jasmine is a masterpiece. But do you know it was born in fire and controversy? This fire ignited on the first day of the set between Woody Allen and Cate Blanchett.
First day he said, "It's awful. You're awful."
To you?
Yeah.
What is the history of this comment? Well, the year was 2012 when the script of Blue Jasmine landed in Cate Blanchett's hands like a bolt of electricity. The writer was Woody Allen, who was known as a legend or genius. But soon, Cate Blanchett was going to know the other side of him. Blanchett had spent weeks preparing to enter Jasmine's fractured psyche. She spent days and nights making Jasmine's character remarkable to the world. She stepped on the set with the energy of a powerhouse and the confidence of an Oscar-winning actress. For the world, this confidence and grace were beautiful, but for Woody Allen, it was challenging. He didn't like the confidence and smile of this Hollywood queen and decided to drop a mean comment to shatter her peace. "It is awful." She was in the middle of her first take when Woody Allen's words echoed on the set. Blanchett was stunned. A woman who had commanded Shakespearean stages across the globe, now being dismissed in a whispery voice by a director famous for harboring grudges and abusing his co-actors. Here, our queen didn't double down. She stood her ground, flashed a smirk at the director, and kept doing her takes as if nothing happened. But her heart was bleeding. She used the emotional rawness of that exchange and let it bleed into Jasmine's unraveling psyche.
But he didn't say what to do. He
No.
just said it's awful.
No, but
So then you did it again?
and it was still awful. But
It was still awful?
Well, obviously it got a bit better because it didn't, people have gone to see it.
By winning the Academy Award for Best Actress for this role, she took her revenge on Woody Allen, but also vowed never to work with him. 4. Guy Pearce. But Woody Allen's jealousy is nothing in front of Guy Pearce's grudges and resentment. This Australian actor is full of jealousy and doesn't let any chance go to show his mean attitude toward Cate.
You know, in Australia, there's we have a wonderful sort of cultural industries, but often success is not rewarded.
It was 2023 when Blanchett won the Critics' Choice Award for her haunting performance in T.A.R. Of course, Twitter erupts with praise, but not from Pierce. He cryptically tweets, "Fascinating choice," on tweets praising Blanchett. This jab was ignorable when Pierce took it further. In response to a fan post celebrating Blanchett by sharing her photo shoot, he writes, "Ah, no thanks." This was cold, calculated, and dismissive. The internet exploded. Everyone could smell jealousy and resentment from these tweets. Pierce later deleted the tweets and offered a flimsy excuse by tweeting, "Just sarcasm." But the damage was already done. Blanchett stayed dead silent. To someone like Cate, who values professionalism above ego, Pierce's snide remarks weren't just personal. They were a betrayal. That's not a rivalry. That is disrespectful. And for Blanchett, that's unforgivable. So she had publicly mentioned that she would never work with Pierce ever in her life. 3. Tom Cruise. This wasn't the first time Cate Blanchett showed her hatred in the form of silence or in the form of a decent jab. In fact, there is one prominent example where her one sentence shows the world her hatred toward a Hollywood icon. She doesn't shout. She doesn't tweet. But when asked about the spiritual manipulation behind Hollywood's glittering veil, she delivered a dagger disguised as intellect.
My best friend was Catholic, and I went every week to church wanting a sign, and I knew nothing about the dark corridors of the Catholic Church.
In one interview, she calmly made a statement that sent ripples of shock throughout Hollywood. The statement was, "There's a difference between belief and coercion, and some stars forget that." She never said his name. She didn't have to. Industry insiders heard it. The audience felt it. And the subtext was screaming, "Tom Cruise." We all know Cruise is the relentless action icon, the face of global franchises, and the devoted ambassador of Scientology. He doesn't just star in blockbusters. He leads missions, jumps off buildings, and defies death on screen and in reputation. But behind his charming smile, something sinister is going on.
As you move forward in life, what's your moral compass? What do you where does kindness and humanity sit in a really brutal world?
Cate Blanchett, what is your moral compass? Where does kindness and humanity sit in a brutal world?
His Scientology connections have long been accused of coercion, isolation, and even abuse. It is a dark cult of which Tom Cruise is a dedicated supporter. So, Cate Blanchett, a staunch defender of artistic autonomy and psychological safety in the industry, couldn't stay silent. By calling out to him, she wasn't attacking faith, but was condemning control. She wasn't just criticizing a religion, but was calling out an institution tied to lawsuits, trauma, and years of media scrutiny. And that's why the icy divide between Blanchett and Cruise is more than personal. It is ideological, and a quiet war between freedom and fanaticism. One that may never be spoken aloud, but can be felt in every quote, every pause, and every red carpet. They never walk together. Second, Brad Pitt. This is clear by now that Cate took her work quite seriously. She can't withstand egos or any sort of dispute on the set. But Brad Pitt was unaware of it. He entered Cate's kingdom without any ethics and faced the punishment of the Ice Queen.
I thought they were ridiculous.
It was supposed to be a cinematic masterpiece, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It was a sweeping, time-bending love story helmed by David Fincher, with two of Hollywood's most iconic actors at the helm, Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett. On screen, they played star-crossed lovers drifting through the decades. But off-screen, something else was boiling. Behind the camera, Brad Pitt was distracted, or I must say, enthralled. His blossoming romance with Angelina Jolie was consuming tabloid headlines and, according to insiders, much of his attention on set. What began as flirtation had grown into obsession. Between takes, Pitt would reportedly disappear into his trailer for long phone calls. He would arrive late to rehearsals, allegedly scrolling through pictures Jolie had sent him. Production staff whispered that his focus was split in two, and Cate noticed.
I realised that I was being asked to partner with him on a really interesting exercise in form, and that has been an astonishing ride.
Blanchett, known for her discipline and quiet intensity, was not amused. Her performance demanded nuance, stillness, and emotional control. Yet here she was, trying to pull poetry from a scene while her co-star gushed about his new life as one half of Brangelina. She reportedly voiced her frustrations privately with cold precision. There was talk of her demanding more time for reshoots and stricter call times. To Blanchett, the work came first. To Pitt, at that moment, Jolie came first. Though they survived the whole shooting, Cate clearly told the world she would never work with Brad, because she hated the unprofessional attitude of actors and couldn't stand their inappropriate antics. 1. Blake Lively. This last one is full of drama and heartbreaking realities that make Cate hate Blake Lively from her core. This all started when Cate received a cold, impersonal email from Chanel stating, "Creative alignment is no longer in place." We all know that Cate brought grace, depth, and artistic integrity to every Chanel campaign. Her husband, Andrew Upton, even penned a silent black and white film for Chanel. It was a haunting, wordless story about two women, full of raw emotion and subtle power. This wasn't marketing noise. This was art.
My character didn't know how she felt about, or the way to even process or explain to herself or to other people what had gone on all those years ago.
But ultimately, 10 years of Cate's legacy was going to be replaced by Blake Lively. Her husband's script was also tossed away. But this wasn't the problem. The Ice Queen of Hollywood didn't give any damn about it. But Blake's shallow mindset wasn't satisfied with the silence of Cate. She was craving for a drama, and at last got the chance at a lavish private Chanel dinner. At that dinner, Cate showed up as a silent and composed queen. Blake sat front and center, grinning like she'd just discovered feminism. And in that room full of legends, Blake allegedly joked to a guest, "That script was beautiful, but a little outdated, right?" The other one asked her what she was talking about. Then, in quite a loud voice, she remarked, "Andrew's script? Legacy doesn't really sell to Gen Z." Cate was just 2 tables away, listening to a quite disrespectful comment about her husband's script. Blake was intentionally loud to deliver her message to Cate, trying to insult her in front of other A-list actors. It was at that moment she promised herself never to work with Blake. So, what do you think? Is Cate justified in hating these actors, or is she just dramatic? Don't forget to share your thoughts about this in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel for more updates.